तरीके का, what kind of people do you meet? What kind of platform do you get? So Tushar, if you could just quickly take me to the second slide. So guys, before we actually, get deep into performance would come on ShareChat, let's understand what the platform is all about. Understand a platform, which is specifically made for Bharat. If you look at the real gist behind why we, introduced this platform, we realize that every other platform has been introduced for India, the initial internet users, and later on, all those platforms started adjusting themselves, or let's say converting themselves towards Bharat, but obviously that, if you try to adjust something to the other thing, it would never be a perfect fit. So we felt that, why not introduce a platform from day one, which is meant for these Bharatvasis, who are Bharatvasis? Bharatvasis is somebody who could be staying in a metro, or it could be a tier 2 town or a tier 3 town. That doesn't matter. But Bharatvasi is somebody who's saying that, hey, I know English perfectly well, but I would want to converse in my own language. It could be any of the regional language. It could be Tamil, it could be Punjabi, it could be Gujarati, it could be Malayalam for that matter. But they say that, okay, I want to consume content in my own language. I want a platform which would take my business to people who converse in these languages and also handhold me to traverse through that journey, So ShareChat was specifically introduced for these people. Just to give you a number, today, 1 out of every 4 internet user is a ShareChat Vasi. So I'll quickly take you through some numbers. You can already see we have a brilliant creator community today, which is about 32 million plus, which is day in, day out, creating customized user-generated content to the tune of about 2.5 billion plus. We have 15 languages to choose from, and very proud of the fact that English is not one of them. When I say 15 languages, I'm very proud to say that these are 15 Indian regional languages. An average time spent today on my platform is about 31 minutes. And like I mentioned, UGC content, we are doing almost 75 plus million user-generated content in a month. So this is the kind of, this is the width and the breadth of the platform that I'm talking about. It's huge. It's meant specifically for Bharatvasis. It is meant for people who want to connect with, the regional markets where where the real expansion is growing, where the real consumer is staying today. All brands worth their salt. आप किसी भी brand का नाम लीजिए, बड़े से बड़ा brand, छोटे से छोटा brand, everybody knows that अगर आज उनके business को grow करना है, if they want to reach another height, they would have to tap this regional market. And this market is what and why my platform is all about. Tushar, could you take me to the next slide? What is the masterclass agenda today? We are going to, like I said, we are going to talk about the increased ROI. So we would be introducing, like I said, ShareChat ad versus reality. How would you be planning your creative strategy on the ads? Best creative practices. Tushar would not only be telling you what are the specific things you need for creatives, he would also be taking you through some of the best creatives that we have already made, and those have already worked, and in fact, when I was talking to Tushar about the masterclass yesterday, he said that, why only talk about random creatives? Let's show them, creatives which work for the best top 3 or 4 categories, and these creatives today or categories today have been handpicked for you. You could be an e-commerce category, or you could be from an ad tech or a fintech. We have handpicked the creatives for you. These are all the creatives which are top performing. And lastly, once this is all done, we would come to the Q&A round, and we would also come and tell you what kind of offers or what kind of partnership avenues are available on the platform today. Tushar, we can go on the next slide. So, Bob, a very quick introduction on how ShareChat platform works, and post this slide, I promise I'll hand it over to Tushar. Very simple: languages, languages, languages. That's the keyword, how I connect with my consumer. how my content is being created on the platform, how you are going to connect with your consumer is all via language. You tell me what region, what language you want to connect with, and we have the answers for you. You know, I'm specifically talking to the top audience who today want to consume content, create content, consume a platform in their own regional languages. The platform is all about very clear communication. We generally don't beat around the bush. It's a very, very clear message that goes out, and it goes out with a specific regional touch for each of the consumer. So with this, I'll hand it over to Tushar, who will quickly take you through, creative session and the increased ROI. In between, if anyone has a Q&A, or if anyone has a specific, question which probably cannot be asked because of English language in the session or the Hindi, whatever, please feel free to put it in the chat box and we will accordingly tweak the session. Over to you, Tushar.
Thank you, Seema. I'll first quickly go on to my slides. Hello, everyone. I hope we've just discussed in a very brief manner with Seema as to how we should be looking at our thing in today's masterclass. And well, we've discussed it too much that the creator session is going to be taken by me. So let's quickly start on this. Okay, so firstly, when we talk about any asset that we want to make on ShareChat or any asset that we should have on ShareChat display, what are the four main things, or rather, I would say, what are the key things that we should always be thinking of? Okay, so first and foremost is the brief. Okay, now when I say a brief, whatever brief you have, every brand that is wanting to advertise their particular thing on ShareChat, there is obviously a brief towards it. Now that brief will obviously be in detail form, but when we talk to our regional audience or to our ShareChat audience, what we need to understand is that not every brief can be given to them in a detailed manner. That means, yes, the brief should be given to them. We need to communicate about what exactly you are looking at and what you want from them, but not everything at once. Give them slowly and steady. Try to reach them first. Let them understand who you are, what you want, and then from there on, then we can make the ladder more easy for each and everyone to understand. Okay, now we have a basic understanding of what you want, how you want, and now they can talk about it more often between people, and then it becomes bigger for each one of us. So the brief is obviously something which should be very clear. At the same time, keeping it crisp. Crisp is very much needed. Why I say it should be crisp is because I would just want to have my third point also added into this. Your features, your USP, or your any other core communication that you want can come into this particular brief. But when it comes to asset creations, which is our second point, now we would want to break them into different assets. In further to our session today, there are different formats that we have today to showcase, and you can have a better understanding as to why I am saying that we need to divide the brief into different assets. Because if you try and give every communication to the user in just one asset, they might not understand, or they might understand, but they might have a very half-cooked kind of thing. And that's what we are not looking at. We need to have one asset with one communication, which will help them to understand, okay, what are you looking forward to? And then, as I said earlier, we can build the bridge for them, and for every other asset, they can keep having your things again and again. So it becomes like a recurring thing for them, that they see one type of asset and the another asset, but different communications, and the variety that you get can also be a thought for them. So this helps them to understand you in a better manner. And as Seema said, those three important things, that language, your regional connection, and the communication, this play a very different role in each and every different language. We try to have the regional flavor to it, the regional feel to it, so that whenever our user is looking at the particular property that you have chosen or the property that you're running, they connect with it. Because that we cannot go as a global standards that, okay, this is how it should look like and it should be communicated everywhere. That's a little that we need to really think upon, because while talking to ShareChat audience, we need to be very aware that these are the regional audience. They will like certain things in their own manner. That is why we try to create, be it any asset, thinking about them, keeping them in mind that, okay, they will communicate to things like this, and this will be in return helpful to us. Talking about the fourth point, that is emphasis on call to action and end goal. Yes, that's very important because all our assets need to be, having one end result as to what are we looking at. Say, for example, if we are making one ad, now one ad will have one communication that we're going to talk about. But what is the end result? What are we looking at? We want them, if you are an app, then we want them to download it. Then we need to call it out loud and clear to them in their regional language, because that becomes easy for them. So say, for example, if we are making one ad in Hindi, now that same ad cannot be portrayed to our South languages. We need to give them in their own language. So that can't run over there. So the call to action here becomes very important, that whatever we are trying to deliver, we should deliver it in the regional language along with the entire creative, I would rather suggest, because this helps them to understand you better. Your end goal obviously will be to see as to how the user is, resonating with the entire idea of what you have with you. So this is very important to understand that, yes, the communication that you want, every brand wants it to have everything in one go. But here, let's take a step-by-step process to make the user be very sure onto what you're trying to talk to them. Okay, I'll just move on to the next slide. Now, today we're going to talk about these four different categories that we bought for them. But for you all, one is gaming, second is e-com, third is fintech, and fourth is edtech. Now these are the four categories in which we've had different sets of clients, and for them, the properties that I bought in different asset types, we're trying to showcase that how we've kept the communication for them in each and every different asset, and how it becomes helpful for them, and how they have actually helped to see a good performance and a good return also at the end of the day when a user is interacting with each and every asset that they've bought for them. Starting with the gaming slide. Now, our first asset is a creator ad. Now, a creator ad is nothing but an ad that we give it. We call them the ShareChat ads as well, which we give to our users, keeping the communication intact and delivering them in a very simple manner. We don't have to emphasize things to a level wherein we have to make sure that, oh, if you want to drink a soft drink, you have to basically, jump down from 50 floors building. No, you don't have to do that. Our user is very simple. It's good to keep things very real and very simple, because if they want to communicate to your particular thing, keeping it simple is always good. I would just play one of the creator ads so that, what I'm saying, you'll have an idea.
ये बात बताओ, तू तो उसका फोन चुरा के आराम से भाग सकता था, भागा क्यों नहीं?
सर, उसके फोन पर विंजो खुला हुआ था, तो मैं गेम्स खेलने लगा। खेलते खेलते मुझे मजा आने लगा और मैं गेम्स में ही खो गया।
विंजो पर खेले फ्रूट समुराई, बबल शूटर, मेट्रो सर्फर जैसे 100 से भी ज्यादा मजेदार गेम्स, और हर दिन केटीएम बाइक, आईफोन और 10 लाख तक कैश जीतने का मौका पाएं। साथ ही अभी ज्वाइन करने पर 1050 का वेलकम बोनस भी पाएं। मैं तो डाउनलोड करके खेलने भी लगा। आप भी नीचे दिए गए लिंक पर क्लिक करके डाउनलोड कीजिए और गेम्स खेलकर कैश जीतिए।
What we see in this is a very simple communication. Okay, the entire communication revolves around a particular brand which has games and different sorts of games for a user, and how you can actually be involved in the gaming, and you can also win money. That's the communication that the brand wanted. So we're trying to deliver it in a very simple manner. We don't have to emphasize each and everything, make things dramatic, keeping it simple. This is what I was trying to say. Now we come to e-com creator ads. Now, e-com guys are, as usual, they have too many features, they have too many offers. But here again, what we've tried to keep is very simple. I just play one ad and you'll have an understanding.
बताओ, अब यहाँ पर सिलबट्टे को अंग्रेजी में कैसे ढूंढूं मैं?
किसने कहा? ये देख, 3 डंडी वाला मेन्यू बार, स्क्रॉल करके इंडिया की फ्लैग की सेटिंग पे जा और तीसरे ऑप्शन से अपनी भाषा सेलेक्ट कर ले।
बस सही है यार।
अमेज़न पर अपनी भाषा चाहिए, बदल लो, क्योंकि अमेज़न समझता है।
Keeping it as simple as this, that there's a language option that you have now with you, just change it. Don't have to think, don't have to make it too complex for a user. Okay, here is this. We are also trying to give a user as to how the UI basically looks like in the ad only, so that it helps them to have the recall. Okay, I had seen this particular thing, and yes, this is the same thing that is also there on the app. So makes it a better addition to them to remember you. The fintech ads, let me play one ad for you. You'll have an understanding.
सहूलियत का मतलब समझते हो आप? सहूलियत का मतलब है अमेज़न पे। अमेज़न पे को अपने उबर वॉलेट से लिंक करो, अपने पेमेंट मेथड में ऐड करो और हर उबर राइड को ऑटो पे करो। अमेज़न पे से अपना बिल भरने पर आपको पहले 50% कैशबैक मिलेगा। हाँ मैम आ गया। मैम वो कैश है या मैम तो बड़ी समझदार निकली, अमेजोन पे सेटअप भी कर लिया। हाँ मैम।
What we're trying to give with the creator ad over here is that a premise which is going to talk about exactly what you have for you. With the help of graphics, we try to show exactly what they're going to believe or what they're going to get once they download the app as well. So both the things are a balanced thing, so that when a user comes across something like this, they don't feel ki अरे ये तो हमने देखा ही नहीं था, or we were not even aware of it, or we didn't even knew about it. So we try to keep it in a balanced manner, which helps to have a bigger recall value. Moving on to the next category is an edtech client of ours, physics wala.
क्यों नहीं जाना तुम्हें विशाल जी की क्लासेस? उनके पास बैठाने वाली टीचर्स हैं, शर्मा गुप्ता शुक्ला जी के बेटों को पास कराने का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है। डाउट हुआ तो क्लासेस 1 किलोमीटर दूर है। यो गए और शु आ गए। फिजिक्स वाला के पास क्या है?
अरे पापा, फिजिक्स वाला के पास 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा स्टूडेंट्स का भरोसा, ऑसम टीचर्स और तुरंत डाउट सॉल्व करने का सपोर्ट सिस्टम है। एग्जाम पैटर्न के हिसाब से टेस्ट सीरीज और हजारों बच्चों का आईआईटी में सिलेक्शन कराने का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी है। और फिजिक्स वाला ऑनलाइन होने के साथ सेम डे डाउट भी सॉल्व कर देता है, तो कहीं और जाने की कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है, और साथ ही अफोर्डेबल भी है।
तो फिर क्या हो गया? तुम्हारी 11 प्लस जेईई की तैयारी अब फिजिक्स वाला पे होगी।
यस, तो आप भी नीचे क्लिक करके अभी एनरोल करें फिजिक्स वाला पर, क्योंकि पढ़ लो चाहे कहीं से, सिलेक्शन होगा यहीं से।
A little drama over here was needed because it's education, and it needs to be tweaked in a little a little funny manner. We try to create this particular ad, but then again, whatever we've seen from the ad perspectives, these are those kind of premises that we blend in with your communication, and we try to deliver it to the user so that they understand it from the first part to its last part. Nothing goes missing and everything is very clear. We don't try to create things just because we are supposed to create. No, we try to make them happen because this is what our user basically wants. They want it to be simple, they want it to be very clear to them from the first point. Moving on to the next asset. So one of our assets is creator ads. Moving on to the next asset. Now these are our gaming clients GIFs that we also create. Now a GIF is a property which basically is something moving on your screen, and it attracts the user's eye. Now why is it? It's always important to understand what is the user looking at, because see, he has the control on his finger, he'll be keep scrolling, she will be keep scrolling things, but something that comes across them which is moving, apart from an ad, is a GIF, and this attracts them because okay, they have a communication to read, and they feel they can click on something like this. When we're talking about games, yes, the games and the color palettes that we have realized over making assets for different clients, we've understood that the colors that we use play a very, very important role over here, specifically the bright ones like yellows and oranges, because this is the color that attracts a user. Be it anywhere pan India, we've realized this particular thing. So trying to keep things colorful at the same time, keeping it interactive, okay, this is how the gameplay is going to look like, or this is the kind of variety that you will get while you are playing the game, and how the experience is going to be looking like, in a very regional setup. We're trying to create this, making sure that whatever a user is going to look at, he or she does not feel ki, oh, I don't feel that I want to play, or I don't want to download this particular thing. No, we don't. We keep that in mind very clearly, and that is how we're keeping our GIFs. From gaming, we'll go to our e-com GIFs. Again, the utility part of it is very clear as to what is the multi-purpose, or what is the purpose of basically having these kind of products with you, and what's the cost if the cost is available with us, if it's known to us. We try to keep them again in a colorful manner, keeping it engaging, and the call to action over here is very simple, that abhi kharide. Because that is something, if you see in all the GIFs, it's blinking, because that's the thing that we want. We want them to have this end result very clear to them. They don't have to go about anywhere. They have a pretty good understanding as to what all is doing. As in the first, if you can look at with the Medu Vada maker, it's very clear as to what all it's giving to them. With the shoes and with the t-shirt brand, it's very clear to them. So nothing over here is unrequired. Everything is required over here, keeping it very, very intact for them. They just come across this thing and they have all their queries sorted. Now motion videos is basically a form of animation video that we try to create, and we deliver communication via this particular asset as well. As I said earlier, that colors play a very important role to our users. When they come across something which has colors and they have things moving in apart from an ad, they like those things. Just like this.
நாம சின்ன வயசுல ரூடா விளையாடுற மாதிரி வின் பண்றது ஈஸியா இருக்கும், வின் பண்றது சுலபம். உங்க வின்னிங்க யூபிஐ மூலமா அப்பவே வித்ட்ரா பண்ணுங்க. zoopay.com இருந்து மட்டும் டவுன்லோட் பண்ணுங்க.
இந்த விளையாட்டில் நிதியமயம் மற்றும் அடிமைப்படுத்தும் அம்சம் உள்ளது. ஆபத்தை எதிர்கொள்ளும் குணத்துடன் நீங்கள் பொறுப்பாக விளையாடுங்கள். நிபந்தனைகளுக்கு உட்பட்டது.
Communication, simple, things that keep moving, things that attract a user comes across on his feed. He's looking at something and something like this comes in which has colors. Let's stop. Let's hear what is it. Keeping it very clear to them. From gaming motion videos, we'll come to e-com motion videos. Just have a look at this.
ఇప్పుడు మీరు కేవలం 10 నిమిషాల్లో మీ కిరాణా సామాగ్రిని మీ ఇంటి వద్దనే డెలివరీ పొందవచ్చు. నమ్మలేకపోతున్నారా? కానీ ఇప్పటి నుంచి నమ్మండి, ఎందుకంటే జెప్టోతో ఇది సాధ్యమే. మీకు ఒక్క సింగిల్ బ్రెడ్ కావాలన్నా లేదా నెలవారీ నిత్యావసర సరుకులు కావాలన్నా జెప్టోలో అన్ని అందుబాటులో ఉంటాయి. 3000కు పైగా ఉన్న ప్రొడక్ట్స్ నుంచి ఎంచుకోండి. ఇంకా 10 నిమిషాల్లో మీ ఇంటి వద్దకు డెలివరీ చేయబడుతుంది. సూపర్ ఫాస్ట్ జెప్టో అనుభవం పొందడానికి జెప్టోని డౌన్లోడ్ చేయండి.
Colorful, complete information, be it a bread or be it any grocery item, you're going to get everything. That's what the brand wanted to communicate. They have a pretty good idea about what they're going to get. Again, simple communication and sort it.
AU बैंक के लिड क्रेडिट कार्ड के साथ आप अपनी जिंदगी लाभदायक बना सकते हैं। अपनी लाइफस्टाइल अनुसार लाभ चुनें और सिर्फ उन्हीं के लिए पे करें। अभी अप्लाई करें।
What is the requirement? Simple, that the credit card is giving you many benefits. Direct, nothing around the premise to be built. We don't need it. We want the user to have a pretty good understanding from first to last what we're communicating. And keeping them small is also our priority. Coming on to banners. Now, banners are something that a user keeps looking at. You know, once they are on the app, they keep coming across things again and again. They don't stop. The reason is banners are the first thing that a user gets to see when they are on the app, and they would want to understand what exactly is it. So the CT over here is quite big enough and quite colorful at the same time, though it is not a GIF, but then this also gives a good scale to a user because this keeps appearing in their feed as in when they are on the app, and they don't just get to see one thing, but they get to see the multiple ideas over here. Sometimes a user might feel that oh, I missed a communication from a GIFs perspective or from a creator ad perspective or from a motion videos perspective. That is bound to happen, but making sure that if there is something still, then it's a banner for them. If they feel that okay, I missed out information from some other asset, they can get it very clearly from a banner as well. So as I said earlier, that breaking a communication into different assets helps the user to come across them again and again, and not just because oh, I missed something, it's just half, I don't know where is it. No, they will keep coming across different assets in different property forms of yours to to make them sure that okay, if you missed out on that, you have this thing also, and you can complete your have a complete idea on the communication front. Again, in banners, we keep them alive, we keep them colorful, because colors does have a very important role to play in our system. They love colors, they want to see more colors, not dark colors, not dull colors, not pastel colors, but colors that are bright, and when they come on your screen, they look apart, they look different to them. This is one of our e-commerce banner that we created for Nykaa. This was a full screen one. Again, keeping it very simple, colorful, at the same time making sure that it's lively and it comes across totally different to what they have been coming across. So there should be a difference when they are looking at a content piece and when they're looking at an ad piece. It should be different, because that ad piece makes them believe that okay, I need to click on this because it speaks to them. So the copy as well keeps it we keep it very short and very crisp, at the same time making sure that this has to they need to feel okay, I need to click on this, because that's the perception that we want the user the minute they come onto it, like the first impression kind of last impression thing. So it's there and they want to click on it. So that's why the emphasis on colors is very heavy over here. These are our fintech banners, keeping it again in that, if you see Dhan, and we've kept it again very simple for them. What's the kind of utility, what is the thing that they want to have? That creative element is very intact over there. If it's a UI that we want to show them, is because we want the person to be familiar with what you are, who you are, and also at the same time making it colorful and simple. The copies over here are written in a very crisp manner. We are not wanting to go out of the communication box. We want to keep it in that only, and making them believe that okay, this is something that I want to click, which is the do's and don'ts that I have just spoken about. As I said earlier, that let's have one asset with one communication. I believe you would have an understanding now why I was saying that, because we have different assets for you. You can choose them, you can have a look at them. And once you know that, okay, this is the idea that we are proposing, that, if we go to our user, let's give them your communication in different forms and not in just one form, which is a very big don't, because that will just crowd them with ideas and they will not have a clear idea as to how they want to go ahead. So slow and steady, one bit, it makes it a lot difference for them. Exploring different formats of the platform, yes, it's important, because I've just covered that point as well. Why we doing it with different? Because this creates a good dent in the mind of the user as to how they can come up to your things, how they should approach your things. And it should always be important for them to, okay, because something is coming, too many times to us is not the feeling, but it's coming across to them again and again, and they build on that. They want to be a part of it. Okay, what is it? What are we missing out? If something is being shown them too regularly or too often, they would want to be a part of it. Colors speak, as I said, because if you use any kind of dull color, or if the content that you've written in any format, if it's not clear to them and if it's too dull, they will not want to be a part of it. It's very simple. Either it's colorful or either it's just beautiful. That's something that I would say. But with this, I believe my pointers are very clear. If you have any questions, any queries, I believe we can take them up now. But thank you so much. I believe been very clear. If you have any doubts, please ask them in the questions. Over to you, Anushka.
Thank you, Tushar. This was a great session, and even I got to learn a lot about the best creative practices on ShareChat Ads. So thank you for this amazing session. We have a Q&A, session after this. Seema, if you just want to take people through our credits offer, etc., we could get on to the Q&A after.
We love to welcome you on our platform and become ShareChat Vasis with a welcome gesture, and it's a little welcome gift from our end. There are 2 or 3 ways wherein you can get onto the platform. One is, the minute there's a very simple step that you have to create a login and you have to sign up on our platform. जैसे ही आप साइन अप करते हैं, there is an amount of ₹500 which is credited to your account. आपके अकाउंट में वो 500 रुपए का एड क्रेडिट जाके ऐड हो जाता है, जिसको आप तब यूज कर सकते हैं द मिनट यू स्टार्ट लोडिंग योर वॉलेट. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आपने अपना फर्स्ट वॉलेट लोड 1 लाख रुपए का किया है, तो 1 लाख रुपया प्लस वो 500 रुपए का एड क्रेडिट आपके वॉलेट में होगा. उसके साथ ही हमारी स्कीम है 80+20 का ऑफर होता है, जिसमें यू कैन मिनिमम 10,000 रुपीज से शुरू होती है. जैसे ही आप मिनिमम 10,000 रुपीज, 10,000 से लेके आप जितना भी आपकी कैटेगरी के हिसाब से, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप ई कॉम या फिनटेक हैं तो टिपिकली आप 1 लाख से 2 लाख रुपीज का वॉलेट लोड करते हैं. अगर आप एडटेक हैं तो एनीथिंग बिटवीन 85K to 1.5K टाइप्स, और इसी तरीके से आप अपना वॉलेट लोड करते हैं. तो ऑन starting from 10,000 rupees, you start getting a 80+20 offer, which is 80% we give you back in the form of ad credits, plus we would also give you creative support. अब वो creative support किस वे में मिलता है, वो सारा टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन हमारी साइट के ऊपर है. अगर आपको उसमें कोई भी इश्यूज हैं समझने में, तो जब आप लॉगिन क्रिएट करते हैं, आप हम लोगों को एक मेल भेज सकते हैं. उसी लॉगिन से हम आपको कनेक्ट करेंगे एंड वी विल क्विकली टेक यू थ्रू अ डेमो. प्लस हम आपको उसका क्रिएटिव क्रेडिट्स एंड एड क्रेडिट्स कैसे मिलते हैं वो भी हम पूरा अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. सो पहला वे हुआ आपका जिसमें आपको 500 रुपीज डायरेक्ट एड क्रेडिट मिला. सेकेंड हुआ जिसमें आपको 80-20 मिला. और थर्ड है कि अगर आप एक एड एजेंसी हैं एंड आपके पास मल्टीपल अकाउंट्स हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप बोलते हैं कि मेरे पास अबाउट 10 to 12 क्लाइंट्स हैं, उनको मैं कैसे मैनेज कर सकता हूँ अंडर अ सिंगल लॉगिन आईडी. दिस वाज अ डिमांड जो हमारे पास बहुत लंबे टाइम से थी, एंड वी वर कंसिस्टेंटली वर्किंग ऑन इट कि कैसे हम आपको एक सोल्यूशन दे सकें कि सिंगल ईमेल आईडी से सब कुछ फ्लॉलेसली हम लोग कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. आप लोग किस तरीके से हम लोग एड क्रेडिट्स देंगे, वो सोल्यूशन ऑलरेडी आ चुका है एंड वी हैव ऑलरेडी शेयर्ड इट on a website. So if you're an agency, please follow those instructions, get in touch with us, get in touch with my team. We would take you through step by step as to how you can do it, plus what are the kind of benefits you are getting. So these are the 3 ways wherein you can connect with us. At the end of the presentation, Anushka would be sharing an email ID with you. उस email ID पे आप कभी भी एक मैसेज कर सकते हैं, वो डायरेक्ट मेल आईडी मेरे तक पहुंचता है. Accordingly, we would be taking you through any kind of a demo that you have. अगर आपको लगता है that before creating the login आप हमसे connect करना चाहते हो उस मेल आईडी पे, connect to me. I would ensure कि मैं और मेरे टीम में से कोई भी एक एग्जीक्यूटिव आपको कनेक्ट करेगा and we will solve all your issues. In fact, I was trying to connect with Prashant, who had written something on the Q&A wherein he was saying that there is no business support. तो अगर ऐसा कुछ भी आपको लगता है कि कोई business support आप तक नहीं पहुंच रहा है या adequate business support नहीं है, कई बार क्या होता है कि वो support होता है but कोई communication gap या कोई भी एक gap होता है, उसको समझने के लिए फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने अभी प्रशांत को डायरेक्ट चैट पे लिखा कि आप इफ यू कुड टेल मी और ईमेल आईडी जिससे आपने लॉगिन क्रिएट किया है, प्लीज डोंट हेसिटेट, आप शेयर चैट बिजनेस आईडी के ऊपर डायरेक्टली अपने क्वेश्चन आंसर्स भेजिए. कई बार होता है कोई भी गैप है, वो गैप हम लोग we are trying to reduce our tax, so जितना जल्दी हो सकेगा we will revert on it. There are a lot of times what happens is कि performance is not coming because हम लोग best practices follow नहीं करते हैं. So, all those questions, अगर हमें लगता है हमारे end से कि, we can make 3 suggestions to you, उन 3 suggestions को follow करके आपका response better आएगा, we will communicate to you that. We will not hide कि नहीं, आप डालते रहे wallet load और हम performance नहीं आ रहा, हम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. Because मेरे platform के लिए भी performance आना उतना ही critical है जितना आपके लिए. Idea is not that I take money from you. Idea is that I effectively deliver also to you. Because not every time I would want to come and pitch कि नहीं अब आप मेरे को 2 लाख दें. I would just want to come and say कि आप मेरे को first wallet load दें, then I give you performance and then it keeps happening. So अगर please ऐसा कुछ भी आपको लग रहा है कि adequate business support नहीं है, connect with us on that mail ID and we will ensure that you get your answers to that. ये एक QR code आपको अभी you would be able to see on your screen the minute you scan it, and you log you, it would take you directly to my login page. You would be able to sign up. You would get that 500 rupees. You would also get the details about the 80-20 offer and the agency offer that we just spoke about. Now, with this, I think a very, very, big welcome. Please come be part of, our platform and be a proud ShareChat Vasi.
Okay, thank you so much, Seema. Great session, Tushar and Seema. Thanks for this. I hope all the attendees are having a great time and it's a very fruitful session for all of you as well. We've received some very interesting questions. So I'll start with the first one, which is from Indranil Datta, who is an attendee at this session. How robust is your platform in sharpening the audience definition? So whoever would like to take that up.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
How robust is your platform in sharpening the audience definition?
Pretty robust, yeah. I mean, we can actually apply all kind of filters that you have. There are 2 ways to go about it. And this is something I tell all the, new advertisers or the existing advertisers on our platform. Try and not use our platform as a niche, audience. We are more of a mass delivered, because when I say regional, when I say tier 2, 3, 4 towns, or even in the metros, I say that, I can reach the tier 2 audience, tier 1 audience. I'm actually talking of a very huge number. I'm talking of a mass. Strength or the USP of our platform today is maximum reach or the mass. Try and not put too many filters. It could be audience or it could be any other factor. And we can, but otherwise it is very, very robust. You can talk about region, you can talk about languages, you can talk about audience. We can give you any kind of a support. But before you put any of these filters, what I would request is once you have logged in, request for a demo with the backend team, the campaign management team. Once you have done your wallet load, you have logged in, don't put filters on your own, because this team can very effectively tell you what kind of audience we can deliver on the set of filters that you're using. So it's a very robust system. Otherwise, we can deliver anything that you have in mind.
Similar to the first question, can I define the audience based on userships of certain brands?
Yes, you can. on the categories too.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. I'll move on to our next question. So we have an attendee who's very interested in the best creative ideas, specifically targeting the West. So, Tushar, if you have anything, that you've experienced and you'd like to share with our attendees for the West region specifically.
There a particular category from West that he has in mind? It's a huge region.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a general question we've received. So I thought I'll just check if you have anything for the West, any best practices that we could share with our audience.
Before Tushar answers this, I am assuming it is either a fintech category or, a CPG category, because those are the top two categories.
Okay.
Tushar can actually give you a generic answer, but if there is a specific category in mind, once Tushar has answered it, request you to connect with us on the email ID that Anushka would be sharing, and we can be, more specific about the answer.
Actually, I would also want to understand what is the category from the West that we're looking at, because if it's from a language perspective, there's no bar to it. There's no issue in it. We can obviously look into making assets in any language, but what's the category from West? That's the main question. We can answer that as per the question.
I hope we receive an answer to this. The next question is, as a SaaS platform, how much will it be beneficial for us to get started with ShareChat Ads? So we received a query from a SaaS platform and they want to understand how beneficial would it be for them to be present on ShareChat Ads.
I would love to take this question one-to-one. If I could know the advertiser's name and the contact number, and Anushka, you could share it with me, I'll set up a meeting today itself. Perfect. Just share the numbers with us and we'll set up a meeting.
Sure, I'll do that. We also have another question, which is about geo-targeting. So please elaborate on targeting of SCAds. Can we reach out to remote corners of India through ShareChat's geo-targeting?
Like I said, that yes, we can, of course, go in for geo-targeting also. Once you tell us your category and the regions that you have in mind, we can also give you an indicative number of reach you would be having. So for example, if you say Mumbai, or if you say rest of Maharashtra, or if you say Gujarat, and then you say Ahmedabad, Surat, or if you say specifically Bihar, Jharkhand, so I'm saying whatever you have in mind, share with us. We can give you an indication of where the campaign would go and how much would be the reach you would be. Please, it's my humble request, do not set the filters on your own. Ensure that you get a proper demo and you connect with one of the sales people who would be doing an informed demo session with you before you set on to put the filters. Because what happens is, at times we put on filters without realizing what would be the end result, and then it ends with, like a real negligible performance. So we do not want that, neither for you nor for my platform. So yes, we can put in all the filters, but we request you to be in touch with us before you set on to that.
I actually love the response when I see so many questions coming in. So do you measure the impact of delivering the ads faster, the impact of buffering while the ad is playing, or if it takes too long to load?
I would have one of the person from the product to answer this. Anushka, if you could pass on the name and the specific numbers to me.
Sure, definitely. And from the same person, Lenny, also any difference of content speed in tier 2 versus tier 2, tier 1 versus tier 2?
Content speed, no difference.
No difference, right? Okay. We have another question which has come from Nitish. Is it possible to target specifically school and college students?
Not a preferable target, I would see. Like if you want an age group targeting, we can do that, but we would prefer not to do it. Unless you could tell me, is there a specific category that you are talking of? Are you an EdTech or anything else which is targeting students below 18 years or something? Do connect with us, please. And we would love to know before telling you to go ahead with this targeting. For all targeting questions now, Anushka, I would request each of the, attendee to get in touch with us before applying any of the targets. And this is not only for my platform. This is for any platform that they advertise on. because each platform has their own strengths and we know it best. We know how to play on my strength. So in your head, you would be thinking that, okay, if I put these 3 filters or 4 filters, it would give me a good impact. But it might not work out that way. I would be able to tell you probably not to use 3 but 2, or not to use 3 but use 5, and different kind of filters. So get in touch with us. Please, let us talk to you, understand your category and your demand, and then put targeting on the campaign.
And we do have another question. So, is ShareChat ads creatives only good for brand awareness, or are there other aspects that it helps in as well, other than brand awareness?
I love this question, and I think Tushar would love it too. Because it's not only, we do not specialize only in branding, but we are an amazing performance delivery, platform. But I would let Tushar answer this one.
Thanks, Seema. But yes, as you rightly pointed that, no, we are not looking at just branding videos. We are also looking into performance videos. And till date, we can actually happily say that we've been doing really well with our performance-based ads as well. And making them in languages is also something that we love to do, because that the users are very happy to come across those brands which people just generally get to see in branding ads in different languages. But a brand comes in their own language, and they feel warm, they feel welcome about it. So yes, it's just not branding, we're looking at performance ads as well, and we can totally meet up and we can totally discuss things, how we can make new ads for you on ShareChat.
Great. Thanks, Tushar. So we've come to the end of our Q&A session, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you who's been a part of this amazing audience. Like Seema mentioned, we are reachable on self-serve at sharechat.co. I'll repeat, which is that is self-serve, SELFSERVE at sharechat.co. And we'd be more than happy to reach out to you and help you with all your queries. And, when it comes to your creatives, we would be available as well for that. In the meanwhile, Tushar, Seema, any last parting thoughts? We'd be happy to conclude our masterclass today.
There's only one thing that I would like to reiterate at the end of it, that please feel free to connect through that mail ID. This goes for not only the new advertisers, but also for the existing advertisers. If you feel that there is any gap, any genuine gap which is not being addressed or not being handled, feel free to connect with us on that mail ID. Our campaign management team is relentlessly working on to ensure that your campaigns are they perform. There are times when they would suggest you best practices. Please listen to them. Please understand that those practices are being suggested to you only for the performance of your campaign, because we know our platform best. There are times when a suggestion is given and ignored because you feel that, no, I don't want to do it, I'll do it my way. It often results in not getting the effective result and then getting disillusioned about it. So please understand and please listen to what they suggest. There and few hygienes which they would tell you, like the system learning time and the kind of CPCs or the bidding that you should maintain depending on the category that you are performing, or the regions you are doing, or the targeting that you should do. Creative specifically, what kind of creative would work, what would not. Please listen to these smaller things, and I can ensure you that it would be a win-win for all of us. We have been performing for a huge number of clients. We would love to perform for each one of you. And that's it. A big thank you for taking out time today and coming and listening to us. Tushar, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Let's connect. Let's make some new ads, make some new assets for each one of you, colorful, creative ones, and happy to connect. Let's meet soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anushka. Thank you, Seema.
Okay. Thanks, guys. And see you soon on ShareChat Ads. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.